Pull those belts tight, put on your helmet, and grab a gear. It's time for another high-speed episode of Race Chaser Media's Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. Let's throw the green and send it to the hosts in the studio.
That's us.
That is us.
Welcome to another edition of Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller in front of the camera. Chris Murdoch is punching buttons behind the camera. And, well, it's a big weekend of racing.
It is.
1, 2, 3 plus ARCA.
And it starts in
So that
about
would be
59
4.
minutes.
Actually, if you want to be technical, it's already started.
Oh, really? Has it?
Because practice.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. I was talking about actual racing action, though.
Except
Not
practice
fair.
wasn't televised.
It's true.
Yes, but this is because, well, NASCAR.
Right. Exactly.
Oh well. Practice wasn't televised, but we
Blame
will talk.
golf.
I know. We will talk
Or
about
World
practice
Cup.
here in a little bit, and we'll talk about storylines for the ARCA race too, because it's my show and I say we can. We'll also talk about a whole lot of. Well, I say a whole lot. It's been a decent news week, Tom. I don't know if I would call it busy, but there's at least been something.
It's been an interesting news week in some respects.
That's a fair word.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll get to all that. There's dirt news. There's asphalt news. There was some big dirt news yesterday that I'm really rather excited about to talk about coming up on this show that has to do with the World of Outlaws Late Model Series and a brand new dirt track that's popped up on the west side of the country. I don't get to say brand new tracks enough because so many of them are closing. So
That's
I'm
right.
rather excited.
There's a
There's
unique
new
story behind that
facility.
track, too.
Huh?
There's a unique story behind that track,
Yes, there
too.
is, and we will definitely get to talk about that over the course of the program. As I referenced, there's an ARCA race tonight that'll start happening during the last quarter of our show, which is when we're going to be busy having some fun discussion. That's all Randy's fault.
Sorry. My bad.
No, we stole your idea
That's
because
okay.
we think it's great.
It's okay.
So,
It was a great discussion last night, too, so we can turn it into another one.
oh boy,
It's fantastic.
Yes.
you're pointing. That's always
That's all right.
scary.
Just making sure you know where we are.
Oh, I know exactly
Okay,
where we
good.
are. There's a reason I have a timer.
There you
over
go.
here.
We're in the
See,
Payment
I'm good
Studios
at
in
that.
Mooresville, duh.
Well, he's right too.
Yes. Race Chaser PMN Studios in Motorsports.
So when we come back, I want to talk about DGR Crosley because
Okay.
they've been quick today,
They
and
have.
actually they've had a lot of good storylines swirling around them over the last week. So what we're going to do is take care of a little business, and when we return, we'll talk about DGR
Today's meal of the
Crosley
day
and
is
trucks,
pasta.
all that other stuff. We're back right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
This is Anthony Alfredo, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
That's perfect, because it was definitely not planned.
I think Chris Murdoch's having a little fun with us over there.
Either he's having fun
Punching
or
buttons.
we're just that
I
good.
haven't changed anything.
Oh. Well, it was a
We were
happy
trying to give you
coincidence.
credit over there,
Yeah,
and
we
you're
were trying to
I was gonna
compliment
say,
you.
you're
You should have just lied.
So
Just
when-
went
oh,
along
yeah,
with
of course it was me.
We
It was
wouldn't
all
have known
me.
the
That was me.
difference.
Yeah, it's like now you just gave away the secret. Way to go, Chris. Anyway,
Chris Murdoch, everyone.
If we were really good, we could have said he was doing it live in the truck.
Yeah, exactly.
he's good. I don't think he's quite that good. Anyway,
Let's go out
this
to
is-
Chicago.
We'll wait and see if he drops below #1 position. Then we'll know that it was live because he was doing it and got distracted.
welcome back to Motorsports Madness, everybody. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller, and Pasta, also known as Alfredo.
Good day for carbo loading in Chicago.
Yes, very good
As if
day.
you don't need a city like Chicago to not have carbs.
Yeah,
because there's
really.
carbs everywhere.
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Deep dish pizza.
Yes. Yes.
Anthony Alfredo leading.
Yes. Well,
Second- he
truck
led second
practice,
round
and he
practice.
is currently fastest in Truck Series Happy Hour as well.
That's awesome.
Very good day, not just for him, but for DJR Crosley as a whole. Second
Yeah.
practice.
In second practice, he ran a whole tenth faster than anybody that had mocked up.
He did.
Nice.
Yep,
Very nice.
he did.
It's a good day.
Well, DGR had in second round practice, he was first, Dylan Lupton fifth, I believe, and then Natalie Decker was 11th, and Tyler Ankrum was 13th or 14th.
And in final practice, Tyler Ankrum currently sits 10th on the board.
Okay.
So he's picked up, like we said, across the board. And for them to have 4 trucks this weekend for the first time in team history, too.
Yep.
I mean, this is an impressive performance, the likes of which I don't know I would have put on them going into this weekend.
DGR is doing a really good job because they're stretching their resources all out with 4 trucks and an ARCA car in Tanner Gray.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
That's right. Tanner's running the ARCA race tonight. So
Yep.
they got everything going on.
Absolutely.
At least they're all on the same track. So I mean,
Yeah,
at least they're
no
not having
kidding.
to fly people from, from track to track. So
Right.
that's good.
It's just interesting that you look at the board there, and I never draw too many conclusions from practice because everybody's kind of on their own agenda. But when you see repetition, I mean, I'm not going to say this makes Anthony the favorite to win the race by any means,
No.
but I do think that it indicates that he has a good chance to be at least in contention.
Can I indicate some irony?
Irony?
Yes.
We like irony.
Yes. I'm looking
She's a
at
great person.
I'm looking at final practice and looking at P2 and P3 on the board and thinking to myself, "Oh, we've seen this before." Because Johnny Sauter's currently second and Austin Hill is currently third.
Yeah, but that's they aren't necessarily running together at this moment on the racetrack.
No,
so I
this
guess
is
we can-
true. I just had to chuckle when I look at that and go, "Oh, ha."
But
Is that-
what stands out to me is that you look at Anthony Alfredo. He's at the top of the charts. He's only ran, 13 laps of
Yeah,
practice?
13.
When you have Enfinger down there, he's run 33 laps already of practice, and he's sitting, 5th?
Yeah, Ankrum's run 33.
Yeah. So a lot of those guys are running multiple laps. So I'm wondering if they're working more on long runs than short runs.
And I think Anthony did some long running during second practice as
Right.
well.
So he may be in qualifying trim, or he may be in,
working on other agendas.
Right, working on other agendas.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
that's what Tom was saying. I mean, the board goes back and forth depending upon if you're trying to work on qualifying trim, race
But
trim.
when you see somebody
long
that's
run, short run.
constantly up at least, say, in the top 3, if they're consistently in the same range, then you
Right.
can conclude that that's
they have
the
a fast
speed
truck no
they've
matter
got.
what they're trying
Right.
to work on.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
Exactly.
So Overall, a really good day so far for
Yeah.
DGR Crosley. I think that's what we can infer. Why not? Let's go around the table. Can they win their first Truck Series race?
100% yes. I believe that Tyler Ankrum has a great chance to win. I think that Anthony Alfredo certainly would have to at least be considered a dark horse at this point, though, again, racing is a little bit different than qualifying, but Anthony has shown that he can run up in the top 5 in the Truck Series. So I believe that Anthony can win. I don't necessarily think Dylan Lupton is probably at that point just because his first race back in a while. And I don't think Natalie Decker can, but I think 2 of the 4 trucks certainly can win. And would love nothing better than to see Tyler or Anthony steal a win because for different reasons, both of them could really benefit from it.
Tyler Ankrum in particular, Randy, because though he did start and park the last 2 races with Nemco, Ankrum has still attempted every race and is in the top 20, which means should he steal a win in a DGR Crosley truck,
exactly,
he's in the playoffs.
That's true, and he has a lot to prove. I mean, after everything that happened, over the last several weeks with him essentially losing some of the races he was supposed to run because of sponsorship issues, having to run that start and park truck, he's out to prove that he is as good as he, if you put the right equipment underneath of him, he's obviously going to be able to perform. And he was working on a couple of really good finishes and almost won a race. So
finished 3rd in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like even after spinning down the front straightaway or spinning down pit road
and going
doing
4 laps down,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously he has the talent. He has everything he needs. If he can get away with a win, that I think will change the entire dynamic of whether or not he runs the rest of the season in that truck or not.
I would say for sure, and it certainly if you're in the playoffs, all of a sudden that's huge leverage from a sponsorship standpoint.
Yep.
And my answer is I absolutely believe they can win, and I think Ankrum's probably the favorite to do that given his recent 1.5-mile prowess and the fact that because of that playoff carrot hanging out in front of him, he's going to be motivated.
Yes.
I think there's 2 other guys, though, on that list that need to win, and that's Burton and Gilliland. Because I feel like they're being a part of the KBM team, and right now they're outside looking in. You know that Kyle's been screaming at them all week about you guys have got to get out and get these wins because I don't want to be on the outside looking in when the playoffs start.
And I want to be clear. I'm glad you said on the outside looking in because officially on paper, Harrison Burton is not on the outside looking in yet. But for all intents and purposes, as long as Ross Chastain keeps on his trajectory of easily getting to the top 20 in points, which we believe he will do in the next race or 2.
Right.
That will then bump Harrison Burton outside the playoffs and make this a really precarious situation. And one, Tom, that I truly... We've never seen Kyle Busch Motorsports in this kind of a position before. It's shocking, to say the least.
Yeah, but at the same time, I sort of feel like this says more about...
the rest of the field?
The rest of the field and the current truck series than it does about Kyle Busch Motorsports because I don't believe that in this current environment in the truck series with the motors that we have and all of that, I don't believe that it's as easy for technology to buy wins. And I feel like now I know that Kyle was 5 for 5 and Biffle won and whatever, but I feel like
Brandon Jones is in that truck tonight, by the way.
Excuse me. Yes, I see that. And he's 7th quick. But I guess what I'm saying is I feel like this is a more equalized truck field from top to bottom
than what it was a few years ago.
Than what it was. Now, yes, Todd has struggled this year. Yes, Harrison has not progressed maybe to the degree that a lot of people, including probably us, had thought and hoped that he would. But I think it's as much about the rest of the field. I mean, look at Ross Chastain. When we started the year, nobody was thinking that Nice Motorsports was going to be in the playoffs, and Chastain was, So
absolutely.
Ross currently 14th, oh, by the way, but it's okay. It's not the last stage of the race yet.
He can relax now, though. To a certain extent, he's got his win. He just has to get in the top 20.
But he won't.
He's not going to relax.
Yeah, I know
you and
he
I
won't.
both know that Ross
I know he
wants to
won't.
win
He's
every
a
time
Charger.
he sits.
But it's not as much pressure now that you've got the win.
Right.
Because you know that getting into the top
Right.
20 is going to be a little easier than getting the win. So.
And I want to speak to Harrison Burton for a minute because honestly, Harrison's problem is just that he's been a little bit inconsistent. He's had the flashes of brilliance. I mean, he finished third at Dover. He finished third at Iowa. He finished fifth at Texas and Las Vegas. It's not like he's not been there.
Right.
Just the consistency hasn't been
It's
there.
too up and down.
Right.
Yeah, it is up and down. I mean,
Yep.
16th at Gateway certainly is not what they wanted. He crashed out in the first Texas race, crashed out at Daytona. Well, I guess who didn't crash out at Daytona, I guess is a fair point.
The winner?
Yeah, about 8
Austin
trucks.
Hill, that was about it.
Yeah, about 8 trucks.
Yeah.
But that's what the 18 team is missing. I mean, the 4 team, God bless Todd Gilliland. I wish I knew what the fix was for them, and we'll talk more about that on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schubert helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Olero fireproof underwear, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the staff at HMS is always ready to take the time and help you find the right product for your specific safety needs. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Just stop in to HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a message on Facebook. Tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Randy's in timeout.
Yeah, it's on like a pot of neck bones in the studio here.
Randy doesn't get that he's in timeout, so Chris has his microphone muted.
When you mess with the producer, see, that's what happens. You get the mute button.
Yep.
That's, now it's you and me, see?
Yep.
It's okay.
All right.
He's out of timeout now.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness.
It's okay.
Just
what goes
held
around
it.
comes around.
He just had to do a stop and go.
Yeah, something like that. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, the aforementioned Randy Miller, Chris Murdoch is the one punching the mute button over there. And
the rest of them.
Yeah, and the rest of them, too. And we were talking about, or I started talking about, wishing I had some sort of golden horseshoe to fix whatever's ailing Todd Gilliland.
Oh, can I say something before you do that about the guy that brought us back?
I guess.
He was testing a super late model at Orange County today.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me. Noah likes late models.
Yes, and he was doing pretty well with the good old Brandon McReynolds.
Fun.
Oh, boy. Now, there's double trouble if I've ever heard it.
Well, keep in mind that Brandon's Noah's spotter, so. And driver coach.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
In the Xfinity Series? I did not know that.
He has been for a couple years now.
I know
He's been with him since KBM.
Wow.
Yeah, those two are
Oh, boy.
Have been.
If I could be a fly in that pit area. Anyway.
I'm not sure you'd want to. Anyway.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Continue
Fine.
on.
Todd Gilliland. I feel like we've been asking what's up. When are they going to snap out of this funk? Every week it seems like, and the closer we get now, after tonight, there's 4 races left before the start of the playoffs, and I think you have to start asking ourselves now, can they snap out of this funk before the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they can.
Got to win though at this point.
I think they can.
You think?
I do. Yeah, I honestly think that between now and playoff time, at least one of them will win.
You're referring to Harrison or Todd?
I don't know. I would have said Harrison, but this last race, Todd had another new crew chief, and he looked much better. I mean, he didn't finish but...
Yeah, he did. He finished second.
Oh, that's right. He did end up coming back and
It was
finishing
Eckes.
second.
It was Eckes
that got dumped. Yeah, that's right. I was confusing
for the second year in a row at Gateway by Stuart Friesen.
Yeah, that was confusing the two of them. But, yeah, Todd definitely looked better. And... So, no, I think either one of them or even both could get a win. I mean, you can never count the KBM trucks out of victory lane.
Fair.
The problem we've had this year is there's been a Japanese bullet train over there at Nice Motorsports that
called Ross Chastain.
Yeah, that's just been, really making this difficult for everybody else, and he ain't gonna quit.
No, he's not.
He has. I don't see him slowing down.
Well, before him, it was their boss that was kicking everybody's butt. So,
yes, it was. Kyle.
Well,
Kyle took 5 wins. You know what though? I'm curious now, and that opens up an interesting subject. I actually want to go back and look at the 5 races Kyle won
and where they finished.
Well, no, I just want to project who would have won
had they not.
Had Kyle not. I mean, I guess you can't say for sure would have won if Kyle hadn't been on in the field.
Theory.
But in theory, Johnny Sauter at Atlanta.
Well, that would make sense.
That
would have been an extra win that he would have gotten before he got suspended for a week and had to go.
Yeah, Brett Moffitt at Vegas. And I think had Busch not been in the field, Moffitt was easily the best truck in Vegas.
Yeah, he would have had 2 wins at that point. Or he would have had 1.
Ben Rhodes at Martinsville.
See, he would have
needed that one.
Right now, he needed that win because now he would be.
Stuart Friesen, another one who really needs one right now.
Although he's so consistent at points, though. He's got enough. Doesn't he have enough points to be in on points?
Ben?
He's Stewart's the championship leader. Ben is in a little bit of a precarious position.
Right.
If one of the KBM trucks win, he would be the next one bumped
or
down.
Anybody that
hasn't
won yet.
Yeah.
Right. And then Charlotte.
Well, Brennan Poole's not Brennan Poole's not playoff eligible.
But he still would have needed that win either way. Just because for sponsorship.
From a career standpoint, that would have been big for Brennan Poole.
But this brings up the legitimate argument for why, because everybody says,
hate Kyle Busch being in the field.
Well, yeah, I mean, or anybody, even Biffle, whoever finished second, right? So, like, any of that type of, but at least Biffle isn't a full-time Cup regular.
And that would have been Matt Crafton, by the way.
The problem is that when a Cup driver wins a non-Cup event, it does affect the rest of the field.
Right.
I wish NASCAR would still award the
playoff
berth to the first series regular that crosses the line.
That's a fair argument. I could get behind that.
Because they work just as hard as Kyle Busch, so they don't, and none of them have half the experience. So if you're going to let Kyle drop down and play with the kids, at least
give the benefits.
Give the benefits of, and I've always said that because, it's similar to what they would do in K&N, what they used to do, for example, with East and West. If you go
the combo race.
Right.
The first driver from the other division was awarded a win.
Right. And you get points for your. So I really would like to see that because I think at least that way you're rewarding the performance of the series regulars.
Easily. I can agree with that.
Could they
I like that.
Could they not conceivably say, okay, so the 8 trucks make it into the playoffs, right? So let's say Kyle Busch wins.
Is it 8 or 7?
It's 8, right?
Okay.
So let's conceivably say that Kyle wins a race. Could they not just add a truck to the playoffs and make it 9? You know what I mean? Like not say.
Well, the problem is if he wins 5 races, then how many?
Well, that's true. But I mean, just because I feel like for every win that a guy needs, that's one less win that a Truck Series regular could get.
I don't agree. I don't agree with increasing the number of spots in the playoffs. I do agree with Tom's point about still awarding the guaranteed playoff berth to the first regular across the line.
Because in short track racing, for example, if say, my home track in Oswego, if they hold a classic qualifier race at some other track that runs the super modifieds and someone wins, and gets the guaranteed berth, then they hold another one, the same guy wins, they give the spot to the second place car.
Right.
So that
Pass has even done that with their Oxford 250 qualifiers in the past.
So to me, at least, like I said, at least by giving the points, you start with the first regular, he gets first place and first place points, et cetera, and so forth, because Kyle Busch doesn't collect points because he isn't, a regular. He isn't chasing points. So to me, at least that way, it sort of evens it out across the board. So you're not penalizing the series regulars because they don't have Kyle Busch's experience.
Well, that would also make sense because if you're talking about like what happened with Ross getting disqualified and Brett Moffitt getting the win, it's the exact same thing, except we're not talking about DQs. We're talking about wins.
That's right.
It'd be the same thing. If somebody who's not a regular wins a race, then second place should get the benefits of what would have happened had that driver not won.
Yep.
Right. I am happy, by the way, that there's a full field of trucks on the entry list, 32 for tomorrow night's race, or Friday night's race, I guess we should say.
That would be tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, both things are true. In regards to the ARCA race, by the way.
Wow.
There was a little bit of news this week. Austin Self is back in an AM Racing / Wintron Racing entry for the ARCA race.
Oh, okay.
That will be going on later in the show as it continues
T minus
to air live.
33 minutes or so?
Roughly.
Yeah.
Roughly. I think green flag is 8:26 officially.
Okay, yeah, so about an hour.
About an hour.
Ish.
That's interesting.
It is
Austin
interesting.
Self I feel like that's good for Austin because he's still at a point where I think he can benefit from additional seat time.
I agree.
And other
Absolutely.
things.
And I feel like he's, because of the seat time he has had in the truck, it makes him a good driver to lean on and at least give data and feedback to for somebody like Cole Glasson, who's one of the development drivers in that stable.
Yeah, I agree.
And that was referenced in the announcement earlier this week when they said that Austin was coming back to run this race at Chicagoland, and that's a place that he's done well, actually, in the ARCA car in the past. So,
agreed.
Just a lot of little tidbits this week. Let's go to Xfinity since Noah Gregson brought us into this this most recent segment here, and we have, as we said, we have a quadruple header this weekend, which means the Xfinity race is Saturday. And it's still to use Joey Logano's phrase from last year, if we're looking for the big three and me, who steps up and becomes and me?
I think it's funny that you mentioned Joey Logano because he's in this race this weekend.
Yes, he is in this race, a fact that was not lost on me, and I'm also not particularly happy about it.
Well, I mean, it follows the idea of
we just talked about.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if a cup regular wins the race?
Yeah.
Yep.
As of right now,
I mean, they're all a level.
It is what it
field.
is.
But to answer your question, Jacob, I feel like if it's not one of the big three, then who's it going to be? I almost feel like it would have to be a junior motorsports car. I mean, All Guyer's not doing hardly anything at all this year. I mean, as far as surprisingly. Gregson's starting to come up, but he's still got a little ways to go. the 8 car has probably been the most competitive car at Junior Motorsports, and it's
Yeah,
been a rigmarole
shocking,
of different
right?
people driving that car. Zane Smith is in it this weekend.
Yes.
Almost got a win last time he was in it. So
Zane was
I
so
feel
impressive last time he was in that
Who
car.
are you considering the big three? Reddick, Bell, and
Custer. Because they all have 3 wins this year.
Just making sure that's where you were at.
They have 3 wins apiece this year.
There is nobody.
Actually, no, sorry. One of them has 4 now, but yeah.
I would argue Austin Cindric would be the next driver to crack, crack the big 3, but to get a win.
He's got to get a win, though.
And me, yeah.
He's got to get a win, though. I mean, that to me is the one sticking point with that 22 is that it hasn't been able to break into victory lane.
I'm just saying I think he would be the next one I would look at to be...
It's interesting that we're looking at Austin Cindric as and me. He drives the 22 in the Xfinity Series. Joey Logano was and me last year. He drives the 22 in the Cup Series. Okay. Yeah. We'll hold Randy's thought until after this break. We're going to step aside. When we return, more Motorsports Madness. Stay with us.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend
Carolina School of Broadcasting.
The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider Complete Motorcycle Air Suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider Air Shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider Motorcycle Air Suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jesse Love, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
Let me guess, it's going to be raining where he's racing this weekend.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jesse Love, and I'm doing 8 straight days of racing, of which 4 of them will probably get rained out.
Ouch.
That young man, I feel so bad for him because it's like he just has a nasty rain cloud that follows him wherever he goes.
Yeah, but every single state wants him to come to their state so that they can get away with their drought.
Yeah,
so.
and the drought.
He needs a rain jacket sponsor.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Rain-X.
Rain-X.
Something.
Yes.
I feel like feel like when he pops up, we ought to start playing the game. Where in the country is Jesse Love this week?
Put a big map up here on the board and just put a dot every time.
Yeah.
He comes in.
Yeah, a nod to one of the games from my
That would
childhood.
actually be fun.
That's a cartoon now on
should do
Netflix,
that.
and it's very stupid.
I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah,
Anyway,
don't.
Wow.
welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu, training for a better life. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller on this side of the camera, Chris Murdoch over in the tech shed. And we were talking before the break about who and me was going to be in the Xfinity Series, and you were talking about Austin Cindric. I somewhat agree with that. Somewhat.
I didn't realize you were necessarily thinking just this weekend. I thought it was
No,
more of a general.
it was a general
okay.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was a general
The
thing.
other person that I thought about was Justin Haley.
Really? You'll have to explain that one.
I don't think he's consistent enough.
Yeah, I don't think
it-
Justin's quite there.
But
He will be.
The
I just don't think
consistency
he's
thing,
yet.
I understand, but like especially with Daytona coming up, you only need one race to make it in.
Can we
That's all
break?
you
Can we
need.
break the news?
Oh, news?
The Colleague news?
Yes, we
Ross
can talk
Chastain,
about the Colleague news and the fact they're running 3 cars at Daytona coming
Ross,
up.
AJ, and Justin.
Yes, Ross has been added in the 16, which you know Chris Rice better than any of the rest of us. I believe has to do with when Chris was racing.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. There's a story behind it. He was supposed to call me and tell me the story, but he forgot.
He
so
forgot?
I don't have the whole story. But yes, it has something to do with Chris and career 16s and something. So I don't know the whole story behind it. But we were talking about during the break, that's Hattori's number because they run the 16 in the Truck Series and they were going to run Austin Hill will be in the Xfinity race also. But there's a
Oh, he will?
discrepancy about the 16 car. Yeah, about the 16 number being used.
Austin's running an Xfinity race?
Yes, we were just talking about
Okay.
that because Hattori's running an Xfinity race. Therefore, Austin Hill is also running the Xfinity race, which will
Interesting.
be at Daytona, the same race that Colleague is running 3 cars.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But Hattori can't really pull that card when the 16 used to be a Roush number.
Fair.
well, see, that's kind of the thing. It's whoever registers it, right? So,
Right.
I mean, if Colleague got it.
I think Colleague had plans for the 3rd car before Hattori was running an Xfinity race was going to be a thing.
Yes.
So Hattori is running the 61, the inverse of the 16, and Austin Hill's going to drive a Toyota Supra.
Well, and see, if Hattori would have raised a fuss about the 16, we could say, well, you can't run the 61. That's Kaz Grala's number.
Except not anymore because
Well,
Fury doesn't have an Xfinity
Just
license
saying.
this year.
You know, it's like,
Yeah,
it's
that
a
was-
number.
Also,
Put a
another
number on the car and go racing.
Also, I gave an unpopular opinion during the break. I'm going to give another one because Tom thinks Ross is going to go from trucks to Cup. I find it more believable that Ross Chastain's run full time in the 10 Colleague car next year.
I could buy that.
Yes,
I could definitely
I could buy it
that.
I
too,
can
except
tell I can tell you without like saying a whole lot that there a second Colleague car is almost a done deal.
Well, Justin Haley
So,
alluded to
second
that
full-time
with us,
car?
Yes,
that
second
there may
full-time
be
car.
that for
Yes.
next year.
That
Before.
Ross Chastain and Justin Haley on the same team would be fantastic.
Well, I
Plus,
see,
what's Ross' sponsor? Nutrient Ag Solutions. They really like him.
Hashtag watermelon
Who
farmer.
couldn't like Ross Chastain?
Yeah,
I was going to say, who
that's-
doesn't like
right.
Ross?
you always appreciate a driver who gives you 100% every time he's in the car, regardless of circumstances. And after the way that Ross helped to rally the whole Nice Motorsports organization to that win last week, that's the guy. And it's not that I wouldn't like to see Ross in the Colleague car or whatever. It's just that I truly believe, especially if somehow he wins the championship in the Truck Series, I believe he's going to have opportunities in the Cup Series.
I think anytime you do well in the sport, no matter what you're racing or what you're doing, if your name is being talked about in a good way, you're going to get publicity, which means
Yes.
sponsors are going to go, "Ooh, who is
That's
this guy?"
correct. Yep.
Yes.
So, which is what we need. Sponsorship.
Well, okay, so before we talk about Cup, it actually lets me go to a bit of an interesting around the table here that I want to get to. I'm going to start in the trucks, and then we'll go to Xfinity. So we are, for all intents and purposes, crossing the halfway point of the entire year.
Yeah.
This weekend is race 12 of 23 in the trucks. We're not quite to halfway in Xfinity, but we're pretty close.
Hashtag thanks DW.
Yes. Hashtag thanks DW. We'll get to that too. But my around the table here is who's been the biggest disappointment for you so far in the Truck Series this year?
Oh,
Randy
man.
can start.
Thank you.
Because
I want to look.
I don't know. No, I don't
Oh,
want
I
to start
know.
because I really
Todd
I don't,
Gilliland.
I don't know.
I know.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, Chris.
I was gonna say I knew where Chris would go.
Yeah. So Chris says Todd.
Oh,
Why?
man.
Why? Yes,
Yeah,
why,
why?
Chris?
Well, considering he almost won about 3 races last year, and he's just now reaching back into the top 10, he is lacking in something, and I don't know whether that's they've changed the crew chiefs around quite a bit, and it's helped him a little get back into the top 10, but he's just not consistent this year. I think he's just under too much pressure.
It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Randy.
I have to go with Gilliland. But, I mean, any of the 2 KBM trucks, I feel like, because when you put a KBM truck on the track, you expect the driver, which I'm not saying it's their fault, but you expect the driver to go out and win races because that's what Kyle wants you to do.
That's what Kyle said.
Right, and so
That's what Kyle thinks.
I mean, even though it's hard for you to race and win when your boss is kicking your butt, but still, I mean, you expect those trucks to be running up front and winning races like they've done in previous years, and they haven't done that yet. Even though the competition's getting better, people have stepped up their game. It's still a KBM truck, and you expect the KBM trucks to win races. So
fair, Tom.
Well, the KBM trucks are an easy mark, I feel like, for that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to get away from that, and I'm going to say Brett Moffitt.
Ooh, even though he got a win?
Yeah, he got a win.
On a technicality.
On a technicality, but by and large, that's last year's championship. No, it's not.
Yes,
it is.
It's last year's championship driver.
Yeah, championship driver in a former championship truck.
Yes.
They should have won before that, and they should be running for wins every week. And I feel like, by and large, that team has been off its mark all year long. I know they've had some good runs. They've contended for the lead in some of the races, but I just felt like Brett Moffitt would go out and win multiple races, and they just haven't done that. So I'm going with Moffitt, and I'm also, as a sort of addendum to that, I feel like the 3 Tyler Young Motorsports trucks, Young's Motorsports trucks, should be doing better. The only reason that I'm kind of giving them a pass here is you've got new drivers, and
they expanded.
They expanded
trucks,
very quickly. I was just talking to
to
someone about that today. So I feel like they need a year to sort of. It's like
Figure
you
that
expand
out,
and then you got to contract back just to go. Okay, now we're good.
Right.
And everybody needs to get familiar and go through a year and whatever. I think they'll be fine going forward.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Young's trucks because that was one of the first thoughts that came to my mind. But I'll be honest, after all the hype that surrounded my pick for this category last year, I really believed that the driver of the Deuce was going to come in and far exceed what he's done so far. Sheldon Creed, to me, has been a shocking disappointment so far this season. They've had speed sometimes, and other times they've just been, not there at all. And I know not all of that
Sheldon
is his
just can't
doing.
get out of his way.
But
well, see, here's my thing. I think Sheldon can divide his season into 2 seasons so far. In the beginning, for the first 5-6 races, he was basically, stepping on himself.
Yeah.
But the last couple of races, he started to become much more he stopped making the big moves. He's just, he's finishing races. I think Doug Randolph finally got to him.
Yeah.
And, he's had a pair of solid top 10 runs with virtually no issues. And I feel like Sheldon just needed to really get into his head that these are longer races and you can't run, 100 and whatever time trial laps.
Yeah.
You can't put it 3 wide in the middle and lap 6. You gotta just, get to the end of the race. And I think he's starting to figure that out. So that's the only reason I didn't go there is I'm seeing an uptick.
Fair enough. All right. Same question on the Xfinity Series
That's
side.
easy.
I
Well,
I
good,
want
Chris can start.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
If you
if I think it's easy, I can start. Noah Gragson.
Really?
Wow. That was not where I thought you would go.
I
at
thought
all,
about that actually.
There was so much hype around him coming into it. He's in the championship car, and he's barely cracking top 10 in points.
Whew. Rough.
Well,
he's being a little rough.
I mean,
all right.
That's hard.
I'm
to
going to go
argue
next
with
because
the
some of my
logic.
thoughts kind of revolve around that same sphere, only I feel like this driver's been far, far worse than Noah Gragson. Gregson's at least shown flashes of brilliance. Brandon Jones hasn't even shown flashes as far as I'm concerned. The fact that a bona fide Joe Gibbs racing car is 12th on the playoff bubble should something crazy happen that astounds me. His average finish this year is basically 16th when Christopher Bell has won 4 times at this point in the season. As far as I'm concerned, that's unacceptable, and I'm really concerned right now if I'm the 19 team because they got to fix some things over there. 7 top 10s in 14 races isn't going to cut it, Randy.
Nope. Justin Allgaier. Because at this point last year, he had already won, 3 or 4 races?
3 or 4, yeah.
And he is winless this year. And
Yeah.
getting his butt. He's not bad, like I said earlier, but he's not the Justin Allgaier that he was last year when he was chasing Christopher Bell.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay, he was the regular season points leader at this juncture last year.
Exactly, and now he's, 4th in points?
Yes, 4th
Yes.
and
With no wins.
more than 2 races back.
Of the big 3.
I actually, after hearing Chris talk about Gregson, it is a compelling argument. But I actually agree with Jacob. I think Brandon Jones, because I expected Brandon to win more than I expected, multiple wins, and for sure in the playoffs. And it's just like that team has not been able to get started this year.
Yeah, I don't. Kind of like Todd Gilliland. I just don't get it. And I don't know where that light switch is to be able to make it click. I mean, Bell's been in the top 5 8 times in 14 races. Brandon Jones has 2 top 5 finishes.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's run in the top 5 more than that. He just isn't finishing there.
Yeah.
Now, if the Cup Series pick isn't unanimous, I'm going to be shocked.
Well, we'll
Is
get.
that where you were going?
No, we'll get to that a little bit later because we've only got about.
We only have a minute. There's not enough time to
yeah,
talk about that.
left in this segment. I want to pay a nod to the conclusion of Truck Series practice and
Pasta ended at number 1.
Well, no, that's practice. That's practice 2. I got to reset. Here.
Refresh your screen.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
he's still number 1.
Refresh. Yeah, as far as I was told, he's still number 1. For some reason, I can't.
Okay,
get
we have 45 seconds.
Anthony Alfredo.
There we go.
There we go.
Yes,
Yep,
number
he's still
1.
number 1.
Yep.
He ended
Randy
practice
predicted the
3
future.
on top, and
I did.
actually the top 5 that we talked about earlier: Alfredo, Sauter, Hill,
sincere.
Moffitt, and Creed.
The bottom
ended up
5 is not
staying
the
there.
same, though.
No, it's not.
Wow.
I gotta. So we were just knocking on the Young's trucks a little bit. I gotta give Tyler Dipple credit. He ended final practice 6th in a lot better position.
His teammate was 7th.
Yeah. So Tyler Dipple and Gustine both. Maybe they heard us and got up on the up on the horse.
Anthony's giving him notes while he's in the truck.
Something like that. And with all that being said, we've still got a whole nother half of this show to go, which is what I really like about this. But we're going to step aside, and when we return, we've still got Cup conversation and some other stuff to get to in this edition of Motorsports Madness. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up! You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem, and no excuses, because it's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu, that's mycomputercareer.edu.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Riley Herbst, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
That's fitting also because Riley Herbst is running the Xfinity race this weekend in the 18 car with Monster Energy on board.
There you
So a
go.
little nod there, and
Sure.
Riley certainly has been impressive in his limited Xfinity Series starts. Welcome back to Motorsports Madness. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller still with you. And Tom, I alluded to it earlier that, wow, brain's trying to short circuit on me again.
Your brain doesn't even know what you alluded to.
No, my
Chris,
brain.
come over here and reboot the kid, will you?
My brain doesn't know what I alluded to apparently, so I'll just move on. I'll just move on from that and let you talk about
That's
my
what happens
computer
when you
career.
try
Save
to push
me.
on the gas too fast on the green flag restart, and you
I
just
just-
spin the
yeah,
tires and don't go anywhere.
While Jacob is rebooting, I want to share a little bit about a great idea. If you're looking for a new career or a first career, mycomputercareer.edu could be your solution.
You can learn how to reboot him.
That's right. You could learn how to reboot Jacob. It is training for a better life. This is IT is what we're talking about. And here's the thing with that. There are over 2 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs in this country right now. And actually, it's 2,000,001 because now we need somebody who can reboot Jacob.
That's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job.
With benefits.
To keep Jacob working. So, if you want to apply for the job of rebooting Jacob, you have to have training from mycomputercareer.edu first. So here's all you do. Go to the website, mycomputercareer.edu. They have financial aid available if you are eligible, including the GI Bill. And you don't have to do this full time. You can do this part time a few days a week, and you can do it either at one of their 7 campuses across the country, or you can do it online. Either way, your choice. In as little as 4 months, you could be fully trained to actually come here to the Race Chaser studio and reboot Jacob during our shows each week.
Yep, it's Reboot Host 101.
MyComputerCareer.edu. It's training for a better life. You don't have to be a math or science expert. It's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. Jacob is, however, really complicated and complex. So
Ouch.
just
Yeah,
focus on the
sometimes.
training, get your degree, and we need the help. Come on.
Yeah. I'm going to let Chris get ready to punch his break button so that I can go find some caffeine or something. We do have a whole nother half of this show, so don't go anywhere. Please come back.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider Complete Motorcycle Air Suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider Air Shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider Motorcycle Air Suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver William Byron. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness. I'm here, I promise.
Did you eat your Snickers while you were on? Are you yourself again now?
I'm trying to be myself.
Jacob's
this
going
helps.
to go from totally out of it to, by the end of the show, he's going to be wired.
He's going to be running laps around the table.
He's going to be solving math equations.
Yeah, by the time he finishes that code red.
It's going to be a giant equation on the wall, and he's going to be back there like Einstein.
No, I need a chalkboard for that. So, anyhow.
There's one in the production studio.
We're starting the second half of our show, and that means we have Cup Series talk still to get to. I want to allude to some ARCA storylines, since there's a race that's kind of happening during the second half of this show, or there will be here in a few minutes. IndyCar storylines, because we have a one-man silly season. That's going to be fun to try and figure out how that's all going to work.
I'm not sure it's only a one-man silly season, but
if Robin Miller's to be believed, one man holds the keys to the entire
he holds
silly
the
season.
key, but I don't think he may be the only one moving. I think he could cause other movement, depending
That's an
on where
interesting
it goes.
conversation.
Perhaps.
Based on what we talked about last night, too, in the Cup
Yes,
Series.
well, and I also somehow want to hit on in one of our segments upcoming the mass chaos that all F1 fans seem to have fallen into because they finally learned what Tom and I have known for years. It sucks right now.
Exactly. Yeah, it started out as such a promising year, and it went downhill about 5 laps into the first race.
No, it didn't.
It's never gotten any better.
It didn't. There were a couple races there in the first 4 that were really... It was after about race 4 where it got really bad really quick.
Okay.
Because remember, the fight between... I don't remember if it was Vettel and Hamilton. There was one fight.
Drink more Code Red.
You need another shot.
I'm working on it, Chris. I'm just not good at pulling F1 statistics as well as I am other stuff.
Really, it's the first race. We all knew after the first race. We all knew that this was going to be a Mercedes year, pretty much, and it has been. I mean, there's been flashes from other people, but. You know, pretty much it's Lewis Hamilton's
world,
and
the rest
and everyone
of us are living
is
in
just living in it at this moment.
Something like that. When you win 6 out of the first 8 races, that tends to be the theory.
What's funny
prevails.
though is that the conversation in the chats in the F1 groups and such is more starting to become about how boring the courses are.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up! You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem, and no excuses. Because it's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu, that's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Todd Gilland, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
It's like they're listening.
I was going to say, it's as if they knew we were talking about them earlier.
That's funny.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller. We have not moved from our designated
Actually, I moved. I was way over here. I don't know why. I don't know.
Oh.
If my chair is jumping the start or something.
You're now you're now back here.
I feel like Ryan Priest.
Having brake issues.
Kind of level.
Ryan Priest did not jump the start. Come on.
I know.
Officially,
he did. Oh gosh, let's not start down this rabbit hole.
Even Daniel Hemrick said Ryan didn't jump the start.
You don't need to. That was
That's
the
why I
worst
said
call
officially.
in the history of NASCAR.
Officially, he did, but unofficially.
Tom, take back the reins and finish your F1 point.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Well, we were talking about F1, and we were talking about how it's Lewis Hamilton's world. We're all playing in it, and I thought it was interesting that a lot of the F1 groups that I'm involved with, it's funny that the conversation is starting now to come around to all of the courses that are boring and non-raceable.
Yes.
Like, it's unusual for the F1 fandom to be so hard on their courses, but it seems more and more prevalent. It's like the bell's finally going off. Like, we've been sitting here talking about this for 5 years on these shows.
Absolutely.
You know,
they're finally catching on.
There's just some of their courses that are just
not good.
Yeah. Come on, folks. Snap out of it.
Well, when you have to have the whole DRS thing just to enhance the ability of a trailing car to be able to pass, you know you have a problem.
Yeah. I agree. Onward and upward.
Onward and upward. And to the Cup Series now for a bit, shall we? Because we did not earlier when we were talking about our nominees for biggest disappointment at the roughly halfway point of the season. talk about the Cup Series, and now we get a chance to do that.
It's easy for me.
Well, if it's so easy.
Well, last one was easy for you, too.
If it's so easy for you, Mr. Murdoch, why don't you lead off again?
Kevin Harvick.
Wow.
That's actually not where I thought Chris was
Actually,
going.
that's where I thought he was going.
No, I didn't.
Kevin Harvick. I know you guys thought I was going to go with Jimmy Johnson, but
Yeah.
That's also not where I thought he was going. But
it
okay.
was Kevin Harvick. I mean, Mr. Where did he come from? Still trying to figure out where he got off the wrong exit. He got off the wrong exit.
Wow.
He's struggling. I mean, I mean, by this point he'd won like what 4 races last year.
I think he had 5 races. By
5
this point
races
last
under his
year.
belt last year.
Yeah.
He's got zip this year. He's got some ground to make up.
And he's not even averaging a finish inside the top 10 right now, which is
Nope.
really surprising.
That's why I said it's got to be unanimous. I mean, Kevin Harvick is the biggest disappointment so far.
5 top 5s, 11 top 10s, 0 wins, and only 2 DNFs.
Yeah.
In 6.
So he's finishing races, just not in the top 10.
Well,
Just,
and
he's had 5 out
Yeah.
of the top 10.
He's 3rd in regular season points. The stage points really are what's saving him. The problem is he's still more than a race behind the 2 guys who are right in the thick of the battle for the regular
But
season championship,
in
Joey
his
Logano and Kyle Busch.
In his defense, some of those races were his crew, not necessarily him.
Yeah, Randy's got a point.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say that he would have won had it not been for that, but penalties, crew mistakes. I mean, he's had his fair share of pit road
All right.
mishaps.
So, where are you going, Randy?
I'm going with Eric Jones. And now, here's the thing, because last night I talked about this too. Eric is the only guy on the Joe Gibbs team who has not won a race yet.
Yeah.
Everybody else has won. He's shown some instances where he's fast, but then other times due to bad luck or what have you, he's not. And I said it last night. I believe that if he doesn't make the chase, he will not be back on the 20 next year.
Playoffs.
Sorry. My bad.
That's $1.
Playoffs?
Yes.
What are you talking about? Playoffs?
Talking playoffs?
Playoffs. What playoffs?
All right, Tom.
Oh,
Tee it up.
See, I can't believe I'm going 3rd, and neither of the first 2 guys went here. Kyle Larson, for crying out loud.
Yep. Absolutely.
He has had 1 top 5 and 5 top 10s in 16 races, and he's only had 4 DNFs.
And the only race he won didn't count.
So that means 12 times he finished the race, and out of those 12 times, over half the time, he was outside the top 10. That is awful, and that team needs work. Something is missing over there suddenly.
Jimmy McMurray, apparently.
Whether it's Kyle or it's... Well, no, because Kurt Busch is having a much better year.
I've said it for months. I just think Kyle's not motivated. I think he's having way more fun driving a dirt car right now, and he's just doing Cup just to do it.
Maybe.
So if he mysteriously gets hurt sometime during the year and then decides he's going to retire like Casey Kane did, then we'll know that.
Casey Kane's still sidelined because of
crash at Williams Grove in March. Now, there's a possibility, and we've not heard the official news yet. He was supposed to go back to the doctor this week and find out whether he was going to be cleared in time to run the Knoxville Nationals or not.
Tom and I saw Mr. Kane at Chick-fil-A not too long ago.
Yeah,
fun.
we did. Yeah.
So I can't believe I raised this, and by the time we're done, 4 of us will have offered picks, and nobody says Jimmy Johnson. But I think that ought to tell us how bad Jimmy Johnson's been the last 2 years.
See, he's not even on my radar anymore. I just think he's just going to ride off into the sunset. And
well, see, here's...
Hey, hang on a minute. I'll let you make your Johnson point after I tell you who my biggest disappointment is so far.
Oh, I thought that's who you were going with.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
No, I was making the point that by the time we're done, there's 4 of us that will have given picks, and nobody...
Oh, and nobody said Jimmy.
Jimmy Johnson. I'm not saying Jimmy Johnson, because at this point, I'm just used to how bad that team is. My pick for biggest disappointment this year is a driver who came to this car with pretty high expectations and has been completely outclassed by the driver who left it, Daniel Suarez.
See, I give Daniel a bit of a pass because, in as much as he's only had 2 top 5s, he's had 6 top 10s, he's only had 1 DNF, he's struggling, but I feel like basically the whole team over there is struggling. I feel like he walked into Stewart-Haas Racing at a time when Stewart-Haas Racing took a little dip in their performance. Kevin Harvick's been way off. Eric Almirola has been virtually non-existent. Clint Boyer has shown flashes. But
notice that the guy who left is doing very, very well.
That's why. Well, that's the point that I made. He's getting outclassed by Kurt Busch in a car that I would consider inferior to Stewart-Haas equipment.
In a Ganassi car
no
that
offense,
is
Chip.
doing way better than Tom's pick for the biggest.
See, but I would argue, though, that if you want to compare, you shouldn't compare Suarez to Kurt Busch. Compare Suarez to the car he left or got thrown out of, basically, is more appropriate.
Well,
which is the 19 car. Now, wait a minute.
Way.
But here's the deal. You brought in Martin Truex and Cole Pearn, who were I would argue, the top driver crew chief combination in the series for the last 2 years.
I thought you were going to make a funny joke and say that they brought in the it couple.
Well, either way, I mean, they basically focused on the 19 car and threw the book at it, and now it's performing. Okay, look at the 20 car as Randy says. Eric has been, and
20 car wasn't great last year though, aside from Daytona.
I disagree.
He's in a contract here, by the way.
That Eric leaves if he doesn't make the playoffs, but it would be just like Joe Gibbs Racing to pull that because
they did it with Suarez.
They can't develop young drivers over there.
And they need an excuse somewhere to put Christopher Bell.
After the break, I want to pose an interesting question about Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, gosh. We could go 8,000 different places with that.
I know.
Randy's only going to go one.
We only have a minute, so I don't want to get into it.
Okay, ask it and let us think during the break then.
Do you think it's possible if Jimmy doesn't win a race for the rest of the year that he does not return in 2020 and this sets out the other year of his contract?
Ooh.
Well,
thus opening the 48 car for somebody else to come in.
Let's then we could speculate on who that might be and what that would do to silly season.
Yes.
Good grief.
That I don't believe that's a realistic scenario. But
I think it's actually more realistic than we think it might be.
Do you really think that Jimmy would just say that?
Because he wants to win so much that if he's not going to win, then he has no desire to continue to compete. He's a 7-time champion. He doesn't need the other year of his contract.
So you're basically thinking that if he thinks there's no chance that it gets any better next year, does he?
He wants to win so bad because 8 means so much.
Well, right, but if he's not going to get, if he's not even going to get close to 7,
I mean, he's
close to having the opportunity to go for 8.
He's on the outside looking in right now. That ought to terrify
He's so
some
dejected
people.
that I don't know if he would want to come back.
Wow. All right, we're going to keep speculating on that on the other side of the break that's coming your way right now.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schubert helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Olero fireproof underwear, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the staff at HMS is always ready to take the time and help you find the right product for your specific safety needs. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Just stop in to HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a message on Facebook. Tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Cody Connor, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness. Tom's having fun playing the blues over there.
You gotta play the blues, man.
Randy's on this side of me, just kind of chuckling at Tom.
Stay away from what's going on over there.
Yeah. On the wall.
You'd be very good at the air guitar championship, though.
No, I actually wouldn't. Air drumming, yes. I could pull that one off.
Yeah.
Air guitar, probably not.
Murdoch's just over there kind of rolling his eyes.
I'm a
and
drummer,
looking
not a
for something to
guitarist.
throw. This is why we call it Motorsports
just get
Madness.
inspired by
Before
the
the
blues.
break, Randy posed a question that I really kind of caught me off guard just because it wasn't something I had thought about. But he said if Jimmy Johnson doesn't win this year, Randy, you believe that he won't come back for the final year of his contract in 2020.
Yeah, so just to clarify, his contract technically isn't up until 2020, to the end of 2020.
Right.
But he hasn't won a race in over 2 years, or what, a year and a half now?
Over 2 years.
Oh, you know, to over 2 years since he's won a race. So I feel like if he doesn't win a race this year, he will just say, you know what, I don't want to race anymore. I'm done.
Wow.
I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Wow.
I think Jimmy would be a whole lot happier running marathons.
At least he has a chance to win those.
See, I can't.
Sure about that, but
I can't fathom Jimmy just walking away.
See, I
don't think the fire's gone yet.
I think the whole perspective of it is we can't imagine Cup without Jimmy yet. Even if he was to say, come February, this is going to be my last year, I'm not re-signing. It's still going to take us a while to realize that Jimmy won't be in the sport anymore because he's one of the last of the, people that have been, transcended the sport that's left. So once he's gone, it's like, well, now what?
So when Junior left, was his contract up and then he left, or was it?
I think his was injury related, so to speak. Because of all the injuries, he didn't think it was safe enough for him to perform.
No, he did finish his contract.
Did he? Oh, okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that his contract.
He did finish his contract.
2018.
He just didn't renew his contract.
Yes.
Okay. Which Rick offered him to do, and that's when Junior decided that I just don't want to do that. My take on this is I could see Jimmy Johnson walking away a year early under only one scenario. Think about when Junior left. There was already a driver in line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's a driver in line
yet
right now with the 48 deal. I don't know that there's somebody that Rick Hendrick looks at as, okay, well, if you leave, we knew Alex Bowman was going to be the replacement. There was not for Junior. Now, when Jeff Gordon retired, they brought William Byron up, which we could argue may have been a little soon, but I don't believe that Rick Hendrick just had to scramble to make that decision. That decision was made. Or actually, no, he didn't. Byron didn't replace Gordon. Chase Elliott did.
Does Allgaier have
Allgaier
have any interest in running Cup?
Well, I'm sure he has interest. I don't believe Rick Hendrick puts Justin Allgaier in the 48.
No, it would be it'd be somebody
I think
younger.
it's going to be somebody younger. What I've heard from inside is that Chris Buescher would be one of the leading choices for that car. I don't think Jimmy waits till the end of the season, then wakes up and goes, I'm done. If Jimmy's going to go out a year early, he goes to Rick. They make the plan. Maybe they don't announce it, but they make the plan. They know what's coming, and so it's a smooth transition.
So at this point, you would think we're halfway through the year. It would already have to be in talks.
If it were going to happen.
If it were going to happen. Because that's not something you just, we're going.
I would think that if the playoffs start and Jimmy Johnson's not in the playoffs, and he doesn't think that things are going to get any better next year, maybe he thinks about it. But I could see him coming back out of loyalty to Rick and the organization to finish his contract regardless of the situation.
And loyalty to Jeff Gordon, since it's Gordon that started him in there in the first place. And we all know Gordon's going to take over Hendrick at some point anyways, somewhere down the road.
So I could see that being a thing, but I think he only walks away if they have a firm plan to replace him.
Well, that's a sought-after ride. I mean, that's one of those rides where everybody would love to drive the 48 car, much like everybody would like to drive the 24, the 88.
Which brings
up. Also, speaking of Jeff Gordon, I'm just putting this out here because it popped in my mind. Look out for him to run Martinsville in the Xfinity Series next year.
In a junior
I hadn't
car?
thought about that.
That's the one car track combo he said he would run again.
Yeah, but that was a couple of
That's
years
a fun
ago.
thought.
A couple of years ago when they had the whole Hendrick press conference, when they still actually had a real media day at Charlotte before they ruined it. And all the Hendrick drivers were there. It was Jeff Gordon it was the year he was going to retire.
Yeah.
So the whole deal was somebody said something about, would you come back and maybe run an Xfinity race or something? And Junior was over there. His face lit right up. And he was over kind of, back and forth with the elbow as if he's rooting for, and just waiting for. And Jeff said, well, maybe, like at Martinsville. And then somebody said, well, the Xfinity doesn't race there. And then he's like, oh, that's right. Well, maybe a road course.
Right.
And, of course, then Hendrick kind of puts his, his eyes. He's like, oh, this is going to be expensive. But it's never happened, and I think now too much time has probably gone by. I don't think that would happen.
Who knows?
But that would be fun.
But being as sought after ride is that that if that scenario ever played out where Jimmy decided he wasn't going to come back, that everybody would probably want that ride, or Hendrick would put whatever money was out there to whoever he could find to put into that ride.
So and I'll make one final point about the Gordon point. Junior did say that Darlington's probably it for him. No more one-off starts. He's done.
Wow.
Yes. He has said that.
Well,
that
Junior's-
must mean this is the last year of his contract with Hellman's, because his contract with Hellman's requires him to run
Junior
at
did
least
say he did want to do one last hurrah at Darlington before he actually hung it up. So I could see that.
Yeah. So if now what if it becomes, well, look, I don't want to take the chance with my health, but Jeff's willing to run Martinsville.
That could be fun.
So, you just kind of leave that on that, go back to what you were just talking about.
Right.
So who replaces Jimmy Johnson if Jimmy Johnson leaves this year? Do you know what that would do to silly season?
It would blow it wide open.
Yes, it would.
Because,
wide open.
Who doesn't, although I would argue that the value of that ride right now is substantially less attractive to a younger driver than it might have been.
Correct.
But Hendrick has enough money that I don't think the quality of the ride would matter. It's the money you're going to get for riding or driving around in that car.
And he could pretty much poach almost anybody he wanted.
Right.
So,
Bubba question mark?
And I don't know if Bubba's his type of personality. Hendrick looks for a certain type of personality. Busher fits that. Byron fit that.
Yeah.
He wants somebody who's
Polished.
young, polished, professional.
What about Christopher Bell?
See, that's where I was going. Because if JGR does not guarantee him a home team ride, I still don't believe Chris Bell goes to LFR.
Well,
period.
Well,
Chris Bell doesn't go to Hendrick on the same condition that Kyle Larson turned down Hendrick, because Rick won't let him run dirt.
Well, That may be true.
That's true.
That may be the point that takes that away. But I guess the point I'm making is that Hendrick could go and get almost anybody he wants.
I mean, Eric Jones may be looking for a ride at the end of the season.
And Eric is Hendrick's kind of type of.
Just to make something clear, Christopher Bell does not stay another year in Xfinity.
No, he will not.
No, not
he'll be in Cup next year some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Even if it means, like we talked about with Eric Jones. I understand that Eric is not, horrible or whatever. He's not doing bad. But look what they did with Suarez last year. They jerked him out of the car and put somebody else in.
And we did find out the reason why Blaney's not allowed to run sprint cars. It wasn't a Penske decision. It was his dad telling Penske, don't let him run any more sprint cars.
Yeah. Oh, trust me.
By the way,
I know there's some stories on that.
I can throw out one more name for the hat.
Real quick.
Ross Chastain.
There's that, too.
See, I even thought about Ross, too, because I thought, Ross would be a perfect fit for any kind of race car.
Yes.
So, and obviously, he's got the desire.
So it would be interesting.
It would be.
That was a great question.
I want to turn to IndyCar real quick and just kind of offer a softball around the table before we get into our lightning round, and we can toss out a few more points. Who's on the rise in your mind right now as far as IndyCar is concerned?
Oh, I think you got a couple. I think the one that stands out for me is Colton Herta.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that
Colton,
pole at Road America was impressive.
Yeah, I think Colton is definitely on the rise, and I think he's also. I think the whole silly season thing, depending on what happens with Rossi, I think Colton could be in demand here.
Yeah,
the question of whether he leaves,
right?
But
he will go. Well, he will go wherever George Steinbrenner goes because Steinbrenner's footing Colton's bill wherever Colton ends up. So my name drop here is Graham Rahal, 4 straight top 7 finishes, and he's climbed up in the points a good bit.
Younger. Okay, but
no,
sure.
just kind of overall.
Who to watch in the rest of the season?
Who to watch the rest of the year. Graham's
he
getting
does this
closer.
every year or two, doesn't he?
Yeah. It seems like about Detroit. He's like, oh hey, I'm here now.
Yeah.
And we'll see if his wife gets better too, because then we'll know that something. There was some mojo going on somewhere. If there was,
Yeah. Perhaps.
But my pick was Colton Herta, too.
I was going to say Courtney's retired now.
So. Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean she can't, be an occasional race or something.
I'd like to see her come back, like maybe for a U.S. Nationals or something.
She can't race her Mustang down the front yard or,
Probably won't,
driveway or something. She's got to go check the mail at some point. Just scoot, at 3 seconds in the mailbox and back.
I think. That's what I think.
Look, I like the way Randy
she wants to be a mom.
9-month pregnancy could turn into 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
Out, kid, boom.
Wow.
It's like everything is fast in the Force family. You guys have to understand that.
He's
everything
right.
Is, boom, done. Out.
Speaking of fast, our lightning round's coming up right after this.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper cars, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit coopercorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. The representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop into HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a Facebook message and tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Zane Smith, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
See, we'd all have images that we can't unsee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't know why we're saying that, just go back, listen to the show, and catch the little.
During commercial, close your eyes, and you can picture everything we just saw.
Oh, boy. Anyway,
And have nightmares.
lightning round.
Yes, lightning round, and unfortunately, it's aptly named if you're trying to pay attention to Chicagoland because the ARCA race is under a weather delay. So we thought it was going to be started before we went off the air, but no such luck.
That just means that God wants us to watch the race.
Yeah,
so
apparently.
He's waiting until the show's over.
Something like
Justin
that.
Sullivan in our chat makes the point he thinks Jimmy has about 2 more years in him before he says he's done. I don't believe he goes past 20.
No.
So that would be 1 more year.
Why would you sign? Why would you sign a 1-year extension?
Yeah. I don't believe he says he passes 20.
Yeah.
But
I
I
agree.
just it's a question of whether he would go a year.
All right, so lightning round. I've got a couple of quick IndyCar hits here.
Okay.
Number one, we were talking about it during the break, actually. The Rossi-Newgarden rivalry right now in
Delicious.
IndyCar. It is very delicious because those two are at the top of their game. It's been a while since we've had 2 Americans at the top of their game and fighting it out for a championship. Do you see it continuing all the way down to the wire?
I hope so, because IndyCar has needed a legit rivalry for a while. It's not that we haven't had points battles, but there's a difference between a points battle and an actual rivalry. It seems like we get points battles that involve 3, 4, 5 drivers going down to the wire, which is okay.
Yeah.
However, a 2-man horse race would be a lot of fun, and I think those 2 guys make great rivals.
Oh, absolutely. Randy?
Yeah, I think for the sake of for ratings and for stuff to talk about, I think it would be great if it went the entire season, because then, as it heats up and gets closer to the championship, I feel like it gets more publicity, and then in which case IndyCar obviously will benefit the glory of having more coverage on itself, because everybody's going to talk about these 2 drivers and the rivalries.
Well, what I love here is it's Alex Rossi versus the team he's speculated to potentially join next year.
Which I don't buy.
I don't buy it either. Alex
Staying
Rossi,
right where he is.
Alex Rossi holds the keys to silly season if he decides to go anywhere.
Yeah, here again, if he ever left that car, who wouldn't want to drive it other than anybody at Penske?
Correct. That's correct.
It would be incredible, honestly. And by the way, real quick, speaking of ratings, Sonoma up 6% and NASCAR so far up almost 4%
for
on
the year. Yes, and that's huge for Fox. That's a great thing to see.
All of that, despite the fact that people are screaming lightning quick running away from cable.
Something like that, yes.
Well, no, it's so there's less people total, but they're still going up. So
Correct.
All of you who are predicting just from the ratings that the sky is falling, stuff a sock in it.
Correct. My final quick hit from IndyCar. Does Scott Dixon still have a chance at this championship? He wanted to stay less than 100 points behind the lead. He did that. I mean, he got spun on lap 1, turn 5, came back to finish 5th, salvaged the day. Can he still win this championship?
Is he breathing?
Yes.
Then yes.
All right.
I feel like they need to take whatever pinballs on that car off because apparently he's been hitting everything but
the pace
victory
car.
lane. And the pace car lately because it's either him running into walls or somebody running over him. So if he could stay out of trouble and be ahead of the field, then I feel like he obviously has a chance.
Stop and consider that if he hadn't have had to come from last just to finish in the top 5 without that spin, he's maybe the one driver that can do something or have a shot at doing something with Alexander Rossi not having to come from 24 seconds back.
Well, that's why I say that unless Alex keeps doing what he did the other day, if Scott Dixon, if anybody can come from almost 100 points back, it's Scott because he can get on a roll and win 2 or 3 races in a row.
He's done it before, and we're going to a really good track for him in Toronto.
Yes,
in a
that's
couple
true.
It's weird because we're actually off this weekend and next weekend for IndyCar. We wait till the 12th through the 14th for the Honda Indy Toronto, which is one of my personal favorite race weekends of the year just because the Toronto Exhibition Place course is such a fun course as far as IndyCar is concerned. Some great passing zones. I enjoy that
Speaking
track.
of Indy cars, I heard that Pocono wants an Indy race.
Come again? They've already got one.
I was going to say they've had one
2
for
races.
an additional
double?
Indy race?
Wow.
Is there any? Oh, okay. So do they want to do like a double header? Or
I don't know. I saw the story posted on Twitter that he's in talks with IndyCar about doing a.
See, that makes me wonder because Pocono's doing this whole
So maybe in
division show with
2021 they do
NASCAR.
NASCAR Indy instead of NASCAR.
So wouldn't that technically be a third Indy race? Because there's the Indy Grand Prix, the Indy 500, and then they would want another Indy race?
No, Pocono we're talking about. Not Indy.
Pocono.
Yeah. Pocono has one IndyCar race. They're wanting a second one, apparently. Yes. But we don't know if they want a doubleheader or a second date.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I would think the doubleheader idea could be intriguing.
Yeah,
Carry
and
on.
see, what's interesting is I'm actually looking at the morning call, which says that they're in negotiations and evaluations as far as a return beyond 2019.
Oh, so maybe
that's what it was.
So Nick Igdalski asked if he hoped IndyCar would return in 2020. Said, quote, absolutely, end quote.
Okay. So here we go. Dear IndyCar,
don't
if you
go
weren't
away.
if you weren't until today thinking about a doubleheader weekend at Pocono, please do.
Yes.
Randy thinks it's a great idea.
I
And
think,
so do
it's
I.
a great idea.
I think it's a great. We saw it. They did it at Texas a few years ago.
Yeah.
The twin 300-kilometer races.
I
why
think
not
that
do?
would be
Why not do a
amazing.
pair of 250-mile
Absolutely.
IndyCar races?
Now,
I think
you
that,
won't
or
sell
even a
that
pair
to
of
the
300.
drivers, but they want less ovals and more boring road courses. But my deal is, if that's what you want to do, then go drive a sports car, and we'll get
I
somebody
mean,
else.
if we're trying to bring new fans into the sport, why not mix up with some IndyCar people and show them that NASCAR is not
But a
that
NASCAR
bad.
Indy doubleheader would be fascinating in Pocono. That would bring enough fans to actually make the NASCAR side worth it.
The track is big enough; we could
Yes.
do NASCAR one way and Indy the other way.
Something like that.
I like that.
All right. I want to get to Randy's question because Randy posed an interesting question that we're stealing. So
Okay.
I'll let you set the stage.
Yes.
here.
So last night on the Inside Pass, I posed the question to both Tom and our guest Blake about Blake Harris, by the way. If you had unlimited funds and you could do whatever basically you wanted to start your own fantasy team of your own, what series would you run? What brand would you run? And what drivers would you pick?
Okay. Just because I'm a dirt guy, I'll start and I'll make this really simple because I think if it ever happened, the fan base would just explode.
Keep in
Heads
mind,
would explode.
we did both. We did dirt, one for dirt and one for a
So
cup, but-
I'll do my dirt first.
Okay.
Dirt, World of Outlaws sprint cars all day, 2-car team, give me Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell, and just watch the world explode.
I like where you went there.
Okay.
I like where you went there.
I'm going to do a pavement team. I'm going to the truck series. I'm pulling Tyler Dayton, former Hickory Speedway truck champion, Tyler Ankrum, who desperately needs a full-time championship caliber ride. And for my third pick, I'm actually throwing in Colby Howard for as many races as he currently could run, because I think Colby the Kid Howard from Simpsonville, South Carolina, is the next big thing in motorsports. And I think in the next 2 to 3 years, he's going to start to show the nation that instead of just the super late model.
So who's on your team?
Okay, so when I did the dirt one, I did World of Outlaws, and I picked Peyton Pierce because Peyton and I are really good friends, and I know he's looking for an opportunity, and he's a really fast kid, and I feel like he could be a master behind the wheel of a sprint car. But for the pavement, I did trucks. And I did a 3-car operation or 3-truck operation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you need a veteran presence on the team. So I picked Justin Lofton because I'm scared of my life. If I didn't pick him, he would kill me. And I don't want him hurting me. And then for the other 2, I picked kind of a rookie, not really, Tyler Ankrum, because I feel like given the chance, he would be a tremendous. And Christian Eckes for my 3rd guy.
Ooh, there you go. So I'm going to circle back to the pavement side now, and I'm actually not going to go NASCAR. Shocker, right? I'm going IndyCar on this one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? Now, unlimited funds, give me an IndyCar.
Yeah.
Give me an IndyCar team. And I can pick whoever I want, right?
Anybody you want.
Okay, because I
But they have to be alive.
And probably at least half
You
decent
can't
behind
pick
the wheel of an
can't
IndyCar.
pick Mario
I mean,
Andretti.
I wouldn't want to see your team. Keep in mind, you have unlimited funds. That doesn't mean you have unlimited supplies to be able to repair the car every time they wreck it. So
I wouldn't
go with
Wow.
Haley Deegan or somebody. But
Oof. Okay.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying.
Wow, you're mean.
She was the first person I thought of. I can name you 55 more people that wreck every week. But
Okay.
Go ahead, Jacob.
So I'm going IndyCar, and I'm going a 3-car team because that seems to work if you're Roger Penske.
Okay.
And Roger's the closest thing to unlimited funds there is in IndyCar. So I'm going a 3-car team. Scott Dixon, obviously, because who wouldn't want Scott Dixon?
Right.
And I feel like he's going to race for another 5 years yet. So that's happening easily. For the 2nd car, I'm going with a driver who I just think would be brilliant if you ever put him in for a full season, even though he's in the Scott Dixon age category. I think if you threw this at him, he would just jump at the chance. Kurt Busch.
Oh, see, I was sitting here thinking Kyle when you went Kurt.
No, I'm going Kurt.
If you want to watch IndyCar ratings soar, put Kyle in one.
Well, yes.
So I'm going to do a truck team. And it's gonna be a
I
three-truck team.
had a 3rd car, Chris.
Okay, well, he hasn't even done any yet. You've jumped right in. Oh, so
It's a
give me a 3rd one.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Who's your 3rd driver?
My 3rd driver's currently on the road to Indy, but I think he's going to be a superstar when he gets to the IndyCar Series. He's old enough to do it already. Kyle Kirkwood. Keep an eye on that name.
Okay, Chris.
3-truck team, it would be Chandler Smith, Tyler Ankrum, and Sheldon Creed.
Ooh.
See, there you go.
So Chris believes more in Sheldon Creed than I did.
Okay.
Because if he can get his crap together, he'll be fine.
Here's my dirt team.
He's just got to get out of his own way.
We're going midget racing because I'm a big midget fan. Okay, and I'm going to give you 3 names for the midget: Cannon McIntosh, Zeb Wise, and you know exactly where I'm going with pick 3: Jesse Love.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
That's my midget team.
3 hottest prospects in dirt midget racing right now.
Exactly right. We're going to go win a whole bunch of races.
I believe that 10,000. Well, I mean, Cannon's already proved he's won one this year. Should have been in contention or has been in contention to win a couple more. Zeb probably should have won during Indiana Midget Week, and Jesse's going to get there. There's no question, Jesse.
As long as Mother Nature can if they can get along.
If Jesse and Mother Nature could get along, we'll be okay.
I'll hire an Indian to do a Sundance, and we'll be fine.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm telling you, he needs the North Face to sponsor him for rain jackets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. By the way, speaking of IndyCar, there's one little news nugget that I didn't get a chance to mention back when we were talking about that. Andretti Autosport's Ryan Norman is actually going to get to test an Andretti Autosport IndyCar at his home track at Mid-Ohio coming up. So that's going to be fun. He's from Ohio, so that's going to be a very interesting. He may be the next one, I feel like, on the Andretti Autosport ladder as far as a possible move to IndyCar.
See, I like Oliver, the kid that won.
Oliver Askew.
Yeah. The kid that won the Freedom 100, I think, is very, very talented.
I believe so too. I think he needs a little more seasoning in.
And who was the
lights.
one that was? Who was the one in the yellow car that just drove his tail off all day and then came up a little bit short? What in the world was his name? Because that kid just blew my mind, the way he was driving that car.
You're going to make me go look now.
Yeah, you can go look. We got 45 seconds.
I know.
A little news tidbit about Kentucky Speedway. They're opening a bar, like a Fireball whiskey bar, on facility in order to attract college kids to come and watch the races. I think it's a really cool idea.
That's wild.
Let's get a bunch of drunk college kids to go watch the race, and then let's see what
They'll
happens.
fit right in with the NASCAR
Yeah.
fans.
That's exactly right.
Toby
Put it in
Sowery.
the infield. Toby's salary.
Isn't that what they're doing when they're moving Homestead to spring break week next week?
Yes.
Mid-season?
Enticing a lot of
Let's get them all
college kids.
naked and drunk. That's all we need is a bunch of college people naked and drunk.
Look
You
out.
sound like Mitch now. Mitch Walker, by the way.
Look out.
Just saying.
Yeah. Final thoughts coming up. Just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Quick hit here before we go. Pato O'Ward is going to make his Formula 2 debut this weekend in place of one of the drivers that's been suspended for too many penalty points on that side. But we've been talking about him on the IndyCar side. Really excited to see him have an opportunity across the pond this weekend.
I am too, but I hope he gets a great IndyCar ride next year and doesn't leave.
Well, when you're part of the Red Bull Junior team, though, eventually you have to take that call, don't you?
No.
Well, Tom,
if you want to win.
Yeah, Tom's got a pipe dream. Tom's got a pipe
Depends
dream.
how bad he wants to win races.
Fair enough.
got a lot
Not
of those.
doing it in Red Bull F1.
Fair enough. Also, Randy made the hilarious point. Just imagine if your granddad is John Force.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I actually made that point.
Oh, you
but,
made it,
yeah.
and Randy followed it.
Still, I mean, imagine just being born into
Think
that
about
family.
the grandfather-grandson talks.
I mean,
that's all I'm going to say.
You have the Force family on one side and the Rahal family on the other side.
I was going to say, we know Bobby's just as crazy as John is.
No, he's not.
Well,
that kid will be
He's
scarred
not even
for the
close.
rest of his life.
Bobby's more of a nerd than he is John is just out of his mind.
You better come out of the womb with a fire suit on because you are going to be a race car driver somewhere down the road.
Something like that. All right, we got to put a bow on this show or a checkered flag. Thanks to mycomputercareer.edu for what they do to make this show possible, as well as strutmasters.com and HMS Motorsport for all the support they put into this show and everything we do at Race Chaser Radio. So with that, we'll hope that the rain moves out of Chicago so that racing can go on this weekend, and remind you that if you're headed to a racetrack, if you look hard enough, you might just see one of us crazy hooligans there. So we're done. We're saying goodnight, Gracie. Have a safe racing weekend till we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. You can be an IT professional in as little as 4 months. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation test today. Motorsports Madness, a Race Chaser media production. For more exciting and passionate motorsports content, follow Race Chaser Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and visit racechasermedia.com. The opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, affiliates, or marketing partners of Race Chaser Media. No part of this show may be reproduced in any manner without the expressed written consent of Race Chaser Media. Thank you for listening.